Hello everyone, welcome back to my Crafts by the Bow channel. Oh, let me make that a little bit straighter. See how that is. Okay. I think we're live. I think so. Let me just move this camera a tiny little bit. I'm just going to move it up a tiny bit. There we go. I think that's better. Okay, hi everyone and good evening. I'm just going to start, while we wait for a few people to join, I'm just going to start by showing you my virtual classes. I only sent this out yesterday and I was really lucky that one of my customers noticed I'd made a mistake. And on the Penguin Place class, I put Friday, November the 2nd. And it's December the 2nd. So thank you, Carol, for telling me. And I have now sent this out with the updated date for it. And I'm just going to show you the sets that we're using. So I'll go through quickly and find them. I should have written the page number on or something, shouldn't I? So, Penguin Place. This is the class that's on Friday, December the 2nd. The class is $35 and you get the Penguin Place stamp set and all the supplies you need for 3 cards. If you want to add the little punch that cuts out the penguin, that's another $26 and I give you supplies for another 3 cards. So this is on page 22. So that's the December class. Hi Jane, how are you? I'm just quickly marking up the page numbers for my classes. I know Laurie can't join us and Libby can't join us this evening, but I know they're going to catch on replay. So this is the Gnome, Kindest Gnomes class. And this one is on Saturday, October the 15th. It's $40 and you get the stamp set and supplies for 3 cards. If you want the dies that match, then it's an extra $36 and you get supplies for 3 more cards. So let's put that's page 42. The dies, they do cut out a lot of the images on the designer series paper, or you can cut out your stamped images or even out of card. I've seen some pretty little cards where, like this one, where they've just used pieces of designer series paper. They haven't stamped or anything. They've used pieces of the paper. So that class. So, yeah, but won't it be quiet, Jane? So I know they'll do catch up though. So Snowman Magic is the class on October the 28th. Let's put that there. The class is $35. You get the stamp set and all the supplies for 3 cards. If you want the matching dies, that's another $33 and you then get supplies for 6 cards. So just 2 left. Let's see. The Fond of Autumn, that's our first class on September the 23rd. That class is $40 for the stamp set and supplies for 3 cards. And again, if you want to buy the bundle, if you want to have the dies as well, you add $40 and you get supplies for another 3 cards. And last of all is the Cottage Wreath class, which is this very pretty stamp set. So that's on page 59. And the class is on November the 19th. The stamp set and 3 cards are $35. If you want the dies as well, it's an extra $46 and you get supplies for another 3 cards. So they're my classes that are booked for now between sort of September, the end of September and the very beginning of December. I might put other classes in as well, but they're my basic classes for now. If you do want a spot in one of the classes, just RSVP and tell me. You don't have to pay for it right now because some of the classes aren't until later. If you wanted to get celebration items, you could certainly book the classes now, and I would put the order in before the end of August, and then you can get a celebration item once you spend $60. Okay, so let's move that right out of the way. And again, thank you for Carol telling me that I got this date incorrect. Okay, so let's go back to tonight's. Now I had this all nice and tidy, and then I put the overhead fan on and all the pieces blew all over. So it's a bit blowy right now. But I know Jane is going to craft along with us. And I think probably Laurie and Libby will have a go as well. These are the pieces, and I have cut one set of everything, but I'm actually going to cut again sort of right now so that you can see what we're making and what you have to cut. So, but I know Jane's all ready to go. She's already cut all her pieces, she said. So she's all ready. Okay. So I am doing black and white this week. So I'm having a bit of a black and white theme. And I've chosen this black and white paper. You've seen me use it before. It's a really pretty paper. Some of the sides are floral, but the back is just patterns, so like grid patterns, stripes, spots, little flowers. So that's what I'm going to be using. And I'm going to use the same ones that I've already cut. I'm going to use this like hatching crisscross page. And what did I choose for the other? Let me just look. One with the little flowers, one with the stripes for the belly band, and one with the little flowers. I think that's this one. Have I got another piece of it? No. Okay, so this one. Is it that one? Yeah, it is. I'm second guessing myself then. Oh, nice to have a day off. Oh, so you spent time in your craft room. What a great day off. I had a day like that last week where I did my unboxing video, and then I did my Facebook Live, then I made a couple of cards that I needed. It was so nice. So nice. Okay, now I need basic black and I need some basic white, and I'm going to cut my base first. So Jane, you're all cut, aren't you? Right, so in my black I'm using a base card of 11 by 5.5. That's slightly bigger than half a piece of card that we normally use. So don't cut like straight down the middle and think, oh, that's what I need, because you need it slightly bigger. It's going to be cut at 5.5. Okay, keep this piece because you're going to need a little bit off there for your belly band. Oh, I bet it was nice. I bet you had a lovely day. Okay, now I'm going to score this while I'm here, and I just need to, oh, where did I just put my list that showed me what I scored? Uh-oh, I just tidied it up somewhere. I'm not sure where. Okay, let me go with my other piece. Okay. So this is my piece that I've already done, and did I not write the score sizes down? No, well, let's add those. So I need to score at 1 1/4. Let's write it on here. Score 1 1/4. And what's this one? This is 3 3/8. 1, 2, 3/8. 3 3/8. 3 3/8. Okay, so let's do that. 1 1/4. Make sure to move the blade. We don't want to cut it. We're only scoring. 1 1/4 and 3 1, 2, 3/8. and then I'm going to flip it around and do exactly the same on this side. I'm just going to pop those together and make sure. Yeah. So 1 1/4 and 3 3/8. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So I'll wait for Jane to do her scoring. From this strip that we cut off, I'm going to make my belly band, and you just need an 11 by 1 inch strip. So this is already 11 inches long. We're just going to cut a 1 inch piece off. You don't need to score anything on here. This piece I'm just going to put back in the bag of card. Okay, Jane's done. All right. Then I'm going to cut my layering pieces, which are these ones. And I've put all the same colour. If you've chosen, say, a white background and then a different colour layer, like a green or something, just make sure that all your layers are the same colour. Okay, so let's get a piece of basic white, because that's going to be my layering colour. So I need 5 3/8, and I'm going to put in my card with the long side at the top, and I'm going to go 1 2 3/8, 5 3/8, and then I need 2 pieces that are then cut at 1 7/8. So 7/8 is the last long mark before the 2 inch. So there's 1 7/8, 1 7/8, and they're actually going to fit on this wider piece. They're going to go just in here with a really nice border all the way around. Okay, then I still need 5 3/8 by 1 inch, and I need 2 pieces cut at 1 inch. Have you got all your layers cut as well, Jane? Not just waiting on me. Okay. Pop that back. So 1 inch by 5 3/8. 1 2 3/8. Okay. And then we need designer series paper, but you also need an inside layer, and that needs to be cut in white. Now for me, because I'm working in white already, I don't have to change colour, but you do need your inside white piece, unless you've chosen white as your background colour. So is this, yeah, so I'm going to cut this at 4 and then trim it down to 5 1/4. There it is at 4 and 5 1/4. And that's going to go on the inside of our card, right in the middle. Okay, let's pop these ones away. I don't need any more of that at the moment. Okay. Okay. So Jane is just still cutting, I think. And then I'm going to start on my designer series paper. I want these ones to go on the wider pieces of the layers that we cut. So these ones are going to be my wider ones, cut at 5 1/4, and this piece of designer series paper is already cut down to 5 1/4. So I only have to turn it round, and I'm going to do 2 pieces at 1 3/4. So 1 3/4, and another one, 1 3/4. Now you might find that you want to use the other side as well. So you might only need 1 or 2 different pieces of designer series paper. You might not want to go the whole hog and have lots of different pieces. Okay, Jane's all good. Okay, so now I'm going to go on to my floral piece, and these are going on the narrower pieces of the layers that we just cut. So they need to be 5 1/4 by 1 inch. And this piece of paper is actually 12 inches long, so I'm just going to cut off a 1 inch piece. Just let me see, do I want that 1 inch or do I want that 7/8 of an inch? I think I want this 7/8 of an inch. I don't want it at 1 inch. Jane, you might just have to trim 2 little pieces of designer series paper. Trim it down to 7/8. Because otherwise 1 inch will be too wide, won't it? And I'm going to cut these at 5 1/4. And then I'm just going to check that they fit. Oh, did I not cut that at 7/8? Oh no, look, I still cut it at 1 inch. So I'm cutting it down to 7/8. You probably saw that I was still cutting it at 1 inch. They're shouting at me saying, no, no, you're cutting it wrong. So I'm cutting it down to 7/8. Oh, I've been at preschool most of the day today, getting ready for us going back, and my head's still in preschool mode. That's my excuse tonight. Okay, let's try that again. Okay. Yeah, that fits better, look. So that little 7/8 of an inch fits much nicer. Hi, Janet. Yeah, if she does it willy-nilly, then she'd end up with what I cut. But Jane was really clever. She noticed that I'd written it wrong. Okay, now I'm going to cut my belly band piece. How are you doing, Janet? Okay. And I need this 11 inches. My piece of paper is actually 12. And I'm going to cut that at 7/8 as well. Yeah. My head's in a wobble at the moment. I'm trying to get all those little people back and ready for school. So I've been doing coat pegs and name cards and tidying out boxes. Okay, so this belly band is now 11 inches by 7/8 of an inch as well. Okay, so let's just check we've got everything. We've got our card base cut at 11 by 5 1/2, scored at 1 1/4 and 3 3/8, turned around, scored at 1 1/4 and 3 3/8. We've got our belly band piece at 11 by 1. We've got our card layers, the 2 bigger pieces, 5 3/8 by 1 7/8. Our 2 smaller pieces, 5 3/8 by 1. Our designer series paper, our bigger pieces, 5 1/4 by 1 3/4. Our smaller pieces, 5 1/4 by 7/8 and not 1 inch. And our belly band piece at 7/8 by 11. Okay. Okay. Let me just check on comments. Yeah, I'm doing good, thanks, Janet. I'm doing really well. I'm just going to find my bone folder. Okay, so with our card base, we're going to fold on the second line in from the right and the second line in from the left, and we're going to just fold it up. Okay, so it's almost like a trifold card, except it's going to be a double gatefold. Okay, so when you've folded those, you've got like a little, what's that shape? Like a battlement. It's one of those shapes. Okay, and then we're going to fold this left hand piece down, and then we're just going to fold it back. So where that 1 1/4 score line is, we're just going to fold that back again and burnish it. And then the same with this piece, I'm going to fold it over, and then this 1 1/4 inch line we're going to fold back. So now you have this kind of a shape. Okay, so across, up, across, down, across. Okay, and this will form like the centre of our card. So that's the double double part of the gatefold. A gatefold usually is just the card folded over like this. So it goes like this. But because we've added this extra length to it and this extra fold, you've got 2 folds on the gate. So that's what makes it the double gatefold. So, okay, sorry, I just needed a drink of water. My throat was just tickly there. Okay, now, let's put together our layers. So, bring in your designer series paper pieces, and all you need to do is attach the bigger pieces to your bigger card layer, the smaller pieces to your smaller card layer. And let's find some tape. Okay, now I can relax and chat, now that I've got all that cut. So what's everybody got planned for the rest of their week? My husband was off today. Well, he wasn't off, he was working from home. But I find I don't get much done when he works from home. So, whereas I was getting all this prepped and normally I have time to myself to do it, I felt like I ought to be doing things, visible things, and then I had to go up to school a couple of times. So I was sort of in and out all of the time. Now, let's put a new one of these in. It's one of those evenings. Actually, who am I kidding? It's always one of those evenings. Okay, let's put this refill in. Oops, don't want that sticking on there, thank you. Okay, pop that right in. And let's get that rolling. There we go. Okay, you should just have a nice little border all the way around. How are you doing with your cards, Janet? Have you got all of those Christmas cards made yet? For your daughter's boyfriend? Oh, that would have been a nice side to have. Never mind, we're going with the flowery side. If you're using this paper or another paper that's black and white like this and it's got floral images, you can always colour a few of them in just to give yourself a pop of colour. You don't have to colour all of them. You could just do a couple of leaves here and a couple of leaves there, and that would look really nice too. You doing okay, Jane? You sticking your layers together? I'm glad you noticed that I'd done it wrong. So I would have felt bad if you'd had to cut twice, even though you're just trimming a small piece off. Oh, I don't want that one yet. I'm just going to check that Jane's caught up, and she's probably way ahead of me even. Okay, so far so good, she said. Okay. Okay, so now we're just going to put these pieces on. The narrow pieces, when you've got this card folded, the narrow pieces are just going to go on these 2 front lines here. And again, you'll have just a little border all the way around. Okay. I find it easier to open the whole thing when I'm attaching these. And don't forget, if you make this card, send a picture, put a picture onto Facebook, and we will have a draw for that pomegranate set. That, what is it called? Perfect Pomegranate. Let me show you. It's the host set from Celebration, which ends, no, only a couple more days. So this one here. This was the free set for a host order of more than $350, I think it was. Over 375. And so I have a spare one. So I thought anybody who makes this card or even puts an order in the next few weeks, we'll make a draw ready for this stamp set. But don't forget to post. I need to see that you've made the card. So make a post, send a picture onto the Facebook page, and then we can put your name in the draw. Okay. Whoops. I need to make sure that's right in the middle. Cut twice and sometimes more than twice. Yeah, I have been known, as you know, to cut a couple of times and then find a new piece of paper. Okay, so our wider strips, I chose the floral to be at the front, right front and centre, because these pieces, you don't see as much of it. You still see it, but you don't see it, it's not in the foreground. So that's why I chose my floral pieces for the front. But you might have, two coordinating pieces that are both heavily patterned and they will still look gorgeous. Okay, so for this one, I'm just going to fold that piece back down out of my way. Just going to put it that way. I like the black part on there better at the top. Okay, let's glue that down. Okay, and then the same at this side. So I'm going to fold that over, pop some glue on. It's a really easy card once you know what the measurements are. Yeah, but it is an easy card. You just have to fold it the right way, and then it's a great look. Okay, so there we are. That's the front of our card, and yours will be all pretty colours. Mine's just black and white because I'm having a black and white week. Okay, right, so now we can put that to one side, and I'm going to do my design that's going to go on the front. And I'm using the Sending Smiles stamps and the matching dies. Let me show you the dies. So this is the piece I actually still want, because I've cut out my piece. I just left it in the die for now. So I'm using the one that says Sending. This one, it has a border. So if you cut this one out and this one, the writing fits just exactly inside there, and you get a tiny little border all the way around, which looks really pretty. And I'm also going to be using these stylish shapes. And I'm using, you saw me use these a couple of weeks ago, and I'm also going to be using them for my thank you cards and my team cards. So I might make a video of that for the weekend and show you what I made with them. But I'm using the two largest ones, and I've cut them both out on basic white. I'm not stamping on both of them. I'm only going to stamp on the smallest one, which is this one, but I do have both cut. And I've cut both because I'm not 100% sure yet if I'm going to do just stamping on here and put it on my belly band, or if I'm going to layer it on another piece of white as well. Okay, so I'm going to do just one simple flower, and instead of being a square, I'm going to make it look like a diamond. I think that will look nice on the front, just that effect. Because I've got all these squares on this paper, I could put it that way, but I'm just thinking I might give it a try that way. Okay, so I'm doing a very, very simple flower. I've got this stamp, and the little dot for the middle. Did I get the little dot for the middle? Yes, the little dot for the middle. I have got the little dot. I'm thinking, oh, I didn't get the one now, but I did. Okay, so I'm going to do my pop of colour as the piece on the belly band. So I've got this melon mambo and this little tiddly widdly flower. Do you know, it's not that one. I've got that one. That one. Okay, and I'm going to pop this right in that top corner. Okay, and then I've got my granny apple green. What are you stamping on yours, Jane? Have you decided yet? Okay, I'm going to put this sort of so it goes down to the bottom corner, and so that this top piece of the stem fits as far into here as I can. but if I miss it by a few millimetres, I'm not bothered. I can always get a Stampin' Right marker and I can make, you know, oh, it actually fitted, but I could make the line a little bit longer, or a paintbrush and put on a little bit of my ink. Okay, and then put that one away, we don't need that. And then my Daffodil Delight, I'm going to do the little dot in the middle. And actually, I might stamp another flower. I might put it on my piece that's going in the middle. So let me get those back out again. So the pink first, because that would look pretty nice. Not sure how high I need to be, so I'm just going to go here. And it doesn't matter if it hangs over the edge. You could do your envelope at the same time. Put your same design on. Yeah, this is going to be a bit too long, and that's fine. And then just the yellow. Which yellow did I use? Daffodil Delight. Okay. Let's pop that right in the middle there. Okay. I like that. That's a pretty little flower. Okay. I'm going to adhere this to the inside because I'm not putting anything else on it. Oh, yes, I am putting something else on. I'm going to stamp a sentiment on. So I'm going back to this one. Now, I told you that I had this die. Using the Hues of Happiness paper. Oh, you know how I love that paper. Oh, nice. It's so satisfying cutting out those flowers as well, isn't it? I think it's such a nice paper, that. So I've already I got a little piece of basic black. I put some of the adhesive sheet on. The ones that come in these big long strips, but they've got like a piece of adhesive that you take off the back, and they're just in like 2-inch strips. So I've plopped a little bit on here, and I've cut 2 out because remember, I'm cutting 2 cards and I already have the ones that I cut out earlier. So I've run that through, and at the moment it's still stuck in the die, and I left it in there because I wanted to make sure I could find it, and I wanted to make sure that I could find this little piece, which is the dot for the eye. And it's such a tiny piece. A couple of times when I've been making cards with this, I've lost that, and so all I've done is I've used a marker or a biro. You don't call them biros, do you? Like a ballpoint pen, and just made a little dot with that. Okay, so the reason I put that adhesive sheet on was to make this easier to stick, because now it will be like just a little label, and it's going to go right across here like this. But before I stick that on, I have to decide what I'm doing on my belly band, whether I'm going to put 2 pieces on, that bigger piece. I do like that effect, but I don't want it to be too big for on here. Oh, what do you think? Do you think that's too big? I think it's better just with the 1. If I show you it with 2, and then here it is without the back, because it will still have the belly band that goes round. Maybe I need to make the belly band first as well, and just double check. What do you think? Let me just pretend my belly band's made. So that's how it would be. I'm going to just fold that around a bit. So that's how it would be just with that piece. And if I put the big one on as well, so it goes over the belly band a little bit, and that actually, whoops, I don't know, what do you think? I'm a black background behind the flower. Oh, that would be nice, but you know, don't you, that I haven't cut that. Right, let me just cut one of those. So it's going to be the bigger die, and you get a piece of scrap black out. See if I've got a small piece in here. No, we'll go with this. Let me get that biggest die. But I think you're right, ladies. I think it has to be that colour. just going to tear a piece off. Give me a second, I will be back. I just have to go over to my cut and emboss machine. You can hear me just getting it out. I didn't have it on my table for tonight, so okie dokie. I'm back. So, but you ladies are clever. That's exactly what I should have done. Should have put it on the black. Now let's have a look now. Oh yes, that is going to look much nicer in the black. Thank you. Okay, let's move all of those out of the way. I'm just going to attach this. Thank you, ladies. Let's make sure we've got that nice border all the way around. Okay. And it's going to say send in on the front, but on the inside I want it to have one of these little elements. So smiles across the miles, all the good luck your way, sunshine to brighten your day, love and big hugs, birthday wishes, a note of thanks, a card to say hello. I'm going to choose a card to say hello, because then I could send it for a birthday or a thank you or all sorts of things. So let's find that one. Where is a card to say hello? What does that say? A note of thanks. A card to say hello. There we go. Let's find a block. And some Memento ink. Don't know if I've used this one before, so I might just... That's not quite straight. Let me put it back on there. So I think I pulled it a little bit. There we go. Let me just have a try at stamping it, because I don't think I've stamped it before. I'm going to just stamp it on here. Oh, yeah. It's nice. And I'm going to put it right in the middle. I'll try and get it straight though. Could have done to be a bit blacker there, but it's good. If it bothers me that much, I can always go over it with a little marker. But no, it's not going to bother me that much. Okay. I wish I could see what you were making, Jane. Oh, I wish I could just peep through and see. Okay, now let's attach this piece onto the belly band. I know I've sort of buckled that up, but it won't matter. And it was only because I was trying to see how it was going to look on the front. Okay. And this will be the same length. I didn't cut it shorter because it's going to overlap. So you only need a border left and right. Okay, and I'm going to close my card up, and I'm going to have it so that the points at each end are going to be on the front, and they'll overlap at the front. And you just need to lay it behind your card. And I know some people will score, but I find it easier just to leave it free and then sort of bend it as I need it. Okay. If you find that your card's a little bit thick and it won't bend very easy, you can just do it with your bone fold a little bit, give it a little bit of a sort of a stroke with your bone folder, and that just starts to move the card for you, makes it just a tiny bit easier. Okay, so I'm going to go back to here, and then this one, I don't want it to be too tight, so I just need it to be sort of matching up like that. And I'm going to check, yeah. You don't want to be able to see where you've joined it over at the side or anything. And if you find you do, you can just trim a little bit off. And I'm just going to attach this. You could use liquid glue. It'll probably take a second or two to dry, and it might be stronger. But I'm just going to put it on with that and just hold it. There we go. And that means it's not too tight. I can take it off easily and I can pop it back on easily as well. But it is going to keep the card flat for mailing. Now this one, I'm going to just line it up so that the points are right between where the folds of the card are. And I'm only going to put it across here, across the belly band. I'm not putting any glue anywhere else, but I'm going to put it on dimensionals. So I'll put my dimensionals onto the belly band. Oh, thanks Jane, I'm excited to see. I very nearly chose that Hues of Happiness, but because I decided to myself I was having a black and white week, I couldn't really. And also, I've used that paper so much, but I do like that paper. I think it's one of the prettiest papers. And every time I get it out, you know, I'm so glad that I cut all of those little flowers out that one night when I fussy cut so many. Okay, now I'm going back to find my little sentiment. This stamp would fit over there, so if you don't have the dies, it doesn't matter. You could just stamp the sending over there. But because I've got the dies, I wanted to use them. Okay. Now, this is an easier one to put on with some tweezers, because you can stretch it a little bit, and it stretches quite fast. So I'm going to line up and have sort of the D just off the middle. So the circle part of the D is in the middle. And because I've now got black underneath, I maybe should have had the little die cut that went underneath that was plain. But that's okay. We can still see it. Okay, and then last of all, I'm going to pop on a few little pearls. These are our festive pearls. They're the ones that we used in our Christmas in July, and I have used them so much. I'm just going to pop these on. Oops. Let's pop this one over here. Okay. So there's my little double gatefold card. Okay, I hope you were able to sort of watch and make it yourself. Thank you for your help in choosing the black for the back. I do like that. And maybe, you know, I could have done that in the melon mambo too. I think that would have looked nice. But no, I still like it. So let's take that off. Have another little look inside. Very pretty. If you wanted to put more paper in, you could always make another set of the wider pieces to go into here as well. But I think that's just pretty as it is. And I love black and white. So let's just flip that round. Oh, that's why it won't go in. I got it stuck there. There we go. Move that down. So there we are. Thanks for joining me, Jane, as well, and making it at the same time. So, thanks, Janet. It's always good to see you. Okay. So, take care, ladies. I will see you all again really soon. I will have a video up on, I don't know if it'll be Saturday or Sunday. I'm trying to do it one day out of the weekend. But I will have a video up, and I'm going to make another card using this perfectly penciled paper, and have another black and white card. Okay, thanks so much for joining me. I'll see you all again really soon. Bye everybody. Bye bye.